John in the 12th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of the disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Well, the return of the Lutheran here. I'm a Presbyterian, as I've said before. But I've done a lot more with the Lutherans in my retirement because we have so many ministers here because our national headquarters and our seminary, which I'm an alum of, are here. So they told me when I came here, Mid-Kentucky Presbyterian, they said, "You better talk to some of our ecumenical partners because that we have full communion with, because you won't get a lot of work here because all the ministers who don't are not pastoring churches. They're at the headquarters of the seminary and then all the students." Anyway, wait, let me adjust. Somebody with a shorter name has been using this. We started that this morning when he said, "I preached here last night." He said that somebody this morning, he said, "Somebody taller than me has been using this." So I replied with that. He did it again, so I'm doing it again. All right, let us pray. Eternal God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In 315 A.D., Constantine declared an edict of toleration that ended the persecutions of Christians forever. And a number of years later, the Emperor Theodosius declared that Christianity was a state religion. And the first thing that started happening was corruption. They had merged the power of the state with the church, and the church felt vengeful toward those that had persecuted it. And so the church started doing what has been called repent or die sinner. They often killed people who were heretics they didn't agree with, or so forth. And a lot of us see that as having unfortunate aspects in Christian history that still reverberate. And there was a first reform movement of sorts in the church. St. Anthony, as we call him, and many other people fled to the deserts of North Africa and lived in caves or huts that they built and lived alone as what are called anchorite monks. It was the beginning of Christian monasticism. But soon people came to these desert fathers and mothers who went to the desert to be alone and asked for wisdom and advice on spiritual life. After all, they had devoted their lives to prayer and fasting and serving the kingdom by praying for the churches in the world, for their reform and so forth, as they saw it. Protestants took a little different approach, but that was over 1,000 years later. And soon communities sprang up around them of monks, and monasticism became communal. So one day when Abba Anthony means Father Anthony, and abbot comes from that word, the head of a monastery for a male facility, an abbess for a female facility. One of the brothers came to Father Anthony and said, to Abba Anthony, and said, one of the other brothers, he named it, has fallen into sin in a grave way, and we think he should be put out of the fellowship of the community here because he has sinned so badly. And Abba Anthony said, in 2 days we'll have a chapter meeting. That's kind of like a council meeting, or what we would call a session meeting in the Presbyterian Church, the ruling group in the church, and in this case in the monastic community. And we will use that to essentially try him and discipline him. That's not all they do at chapter meetings, but that was one of the things. So, in that 2 days, Abba Anthony got a big sack, probably something like a burlap sack. I don't know if they had that then, but something very big. And he filled it with sand and sewed it closed on top. And as he started off to the chapter meeting 2 days later, he punctured a hole in the bottom of it, and of course the sand started running out behind him. So he entered the sanctuary of the chapel, and he walked up to the front to take the abbot's throne, and all the sand was following him and trailing behind him. And one of the brother that had made the accusation said, Abba Anthony, your sand is coming out of your bag and following you. And Abba Anthony said, no, that's my sins that follow me and are a heavy burden everywhere I go. And from that, it said the brothers learned to be merciful rather than judgmental and gave the monk another chance. And he became a thankful and grateful servant of God. I saw a very, I hadn't seen a quote like this in a long time. I posted it on Facebook, Nina. Nina and I went to high school in different years, but together, and no other. But it was from Metropolitan Anthony Bloom. He's an Englishman that I've read some of his work. He's an Orthodox person. You can tell that from his title, Metropolitan. That means Archbishop in the Eastern Orthodox Church. And he made this quote. God can save the sinner you are, but he can't save the saint you pretend to be. And I was stunned by that. I'm a Protestant. I'm from a child of the Reformation in our churches too, and a follower of Luther and Calvin and the other reformer. And I thought, there's somebody God can't save? Then, of course, I realized that the sinner we are is not a pretense. It's a real person. And the saint we claim to be, or pretend to be, isn't real. It's a false front. Speaking of monastics, Thomas Merton was a writer I'm very fond of. He died in 1968, was a monk at Gethsemane Abbey. You still get pilgrimages there to visit his grave and pray with the monks there near Bardstown. And there was a book written about him, sort of a biography, but it was a biography that didn't just sanctify him. You know, we have a tendency to take our heroes and make them saints. And most of the brothers that lived, there's only one left living, Paul Quanon, down there now, and I've met him once, of the people that Merton taught. But the book was titled, and I think it's a quote from Merton he's taking, I'm not sure, Beneath the Mask of Holiness. So he was saying the same thing, that his holiness that everybody was attributing to him when he was alive, dying in 1968, he knew that was a mask, that was a pretense. And by the way, so did some of the brothers of the abbot that lived around him. He was as flawed as any of us are, and he would be the first to admit that. But sometimes we Christians think we're a different class, a higher class of people. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But first we've got to go to this gospel lesson. There are several cultural things going on. I mean, the meaning of the text is plain enough. It's reported in a different setting, in a different house, in other gospels, and might be another person saying the same thing about the woman. But the story, the core story is in most gospels. And the things we don't know help us appreciate the Judaism of the time, the background. The first thing is, when a person comes to your home, you're supposed to wash their feet or your servant is, because, they wore sandals or went barefoot and they were very dirty, and that was considered a point of hospitality. It'd be kind of strange if we did that. But that was a point of hospitality, of welcoming a guest in your home. The second point is, and it's still true in Orthodox circles today, that a woman is not ever supposed to touch a rabbi, particularly married rabbi. Not touch him at all, not even on the shoulder. One, two. I was referring to locally recent events, some of the things that have gone on. So it was considered scandalous scandalous that this woman would touch Jesus, and a rabbi would allow him to touch Jesus. And that's the focus of the text in the other Gospels more. Thirdly, she not only put the perfume on his feet and the fragrance filled the house, but besides touching him, she wiped his feet with her hair, and that is the biggest scandal of all. Because in the ancient world, in the Middle East, women, especially married women, had to cover their head. I went to high school, remember my class converted to Orthodox Judaism later in life, and I got in touch with her. And she came back to Valley Station where we grew up, and I wasn't sure when I went to the door to knock on her parents' door. She used to be a good friend. We didn't date or anything, and I knew where she had lived. And she came to the door to answer the door, and she stuck her hand out, and I was shocked. Usually Orthodox Jews won't shake hands with Gentiles, but that was an honor for me, that she recognized, though I'm a Christian, that I'm a person of spirituality and a servant of God, even though and in Judaism that's possible. Righteous Gentiles are possible, so I was honored with that. And so it was scandalous. Hair was considered so sexually provocative, I hate to put it that bluntly, but that's the case, that women should cover their heads. That's why up until Vatican II, women covered, and some still do, in Catholic churches covered their heads, where my mother even wore a hat to our United Methodist Church I grew up in Valley, when she attended, which wasn't that often really. And Middle Eastern women today, Muslim women, wear at least the hijab on their head, the head covering. See them all the time in the mall. And Jewish women, Orthodox Jewish women, wear a little bit. So do Amish women. And it's that tradition that this is something so provocative that a man can't resist her if she has her hair showing. I know it's part of all that today, but we don't react that way as much now. But they do. I know it's sexist and patriarchal, so don't shoot the messenger. I'm telling you the culture, not commending it. So, you have those cultural things going on. This is just total scandal in whatever version you read. And in this version, Judas is the one who's upset and upbraids Jesus, that perfume that had filled the whole house with a wonderful fragrance. Could have been sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor. The text says that he was a thief, and that's why he wanted the money, because he stole from the collective purse. And that's one of the motives that's given, but there are many other motives, I think, that Judas could have had we can't deal with right now. But he was angry with Jesus, apparently angry and disappointed in Jesus, which led soon, 6 days before the Passover this is, to the betrayal, which all the Gospels report. And indignant probably that this rabbi would allow this. Certainly that's what's going on in the other synoptic gospel texts, the other Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And also wanting that money. And Jesus responds that she bought that to prepare him for his burial. Most of the disciples have been willfully ignorant, as Jesus has said, going to the cross. I will die and rise in 3 days. But she buys it for his burial, but apparently as an act of thanksgiving for raising her brother Lazarus and for his grace. She gives thankfully and lavishly to show her love. And thankfully is the way we receive grace too, for sure. So indignation at people who are sinners, indignation at those who are not like us for whatever reason or as righteous as us, is common. And Jesus responds then with something that's usually only, sometimes in Christianity, only quoted in the first half of it. Jesus says, the poor you always have with you. And I just recently again heard someone say that means we don't have to minister to the poor because they're lazy and worthless and blah, 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 blah. And Jesus said so. You're not reading the text. You quoted half of it. We used to say in preaching class, a text without a context is a pretext to say anything you want. And that's out of context, because Jesus said something after that. He said, the poor you always have with you, but me you do not always have with you. He was angry that Judas in this text, and whoever it was in the other text, that they rejected this woman and her precious gift out of the scandal of their belief that they're better. He said, the poor you always have with you, to me, he who said, if you've done it to the least of these, my brethren, you've done it to me. He said, the poor you have with you to minister to continue to raise funds for, to continue to give alms for. But I'm not going to be here more than a few more days in your presence. Of course, after Easter for 40 days, he was present with them. So he's saying, don't reject a gift of thanksgiving and love that comes from somebody that you don't particularly care for one reason or another. So the real fragrance that filled the house that day was Jesus' grace and Jesus' love. For the grace that marries, in this case, Mary, the sister of Martha and the brother of Lazarus who was raised. The grace that she had felt and the fragrance of Jesus' grace and love. That's what really was in the house that day. And Judas was too tuned out to realize what was going on was completely consistent with the love Jesus had shared all through his 3-year ministry. We have received the fragrance of Christ's grace that has been given to us, and we have received baptism and been marked with Christ. We receive his presence in the communion, the Holy Eucharist, the Lord's Supper, whatever our particular denomination may call it. And that presence is freely given. And then our lives are to become instruments of the fragrance of that grace to others. For he speaks through us as the body of Christ, the living presence of Christ by the power of the Holy Spirit. Now you say, I'm not worthy, I'm a sinner, I failed. And some people have told me that, and it sounds like they say, therefore I don't try, I just ask forgiveness, and then I can be as obnoxious as I want to be. Of course we're not saved by works. You're a good Protestant, Lutheran, Presbyterian, Methodist, or whatever knows that. But the grace of God makes us thankful and makes us want to, we've received compassion. And you know, it's not that we always say that the Pharisees were superior people who thought they were better than everybody else, but we certainly have had a plague of that all through Christian history. We burned witches and burned heretics and burned Catholics and Protestants and burned Catholics and burned Protestants. And still today we have Christians who say they're better than those sinners out there. They don't mean it. They deny it if you ask them about it. But that's the message you hear from some. And we've just received grace of Jesus' presence, freely given. He said, freely you've received, freely give. And we are called, knowing we're sinners. You know, God can save the sinner we are, as the quote said. So yeah, am I there yet? Do I love everybody equally and compassionately? I almost did Freudian there and said uncompassionately, which is sort of one of my besetting sins. If I get angry, I forget the other person's a human being, and Jesus loved all people. We used to sing, my grandmother taught me, Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. Red and yellow, black and white, they're precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. So we respond, hopefully, lavishly and thankfully, and then our thankfulness responds with grace toward others. Imperfect as it may be, God has chosen the church to be his instruments. I hope we can waft the fragrance that will fill this house and all the world